Choosing what UI framework to use in your project makes a huge difference to your developer experience as well as the end user experience too. I think it's such a big decision and there's so many options out there that it's easy to feel overwhelmed. In this video, I hope to help you feel more clear on what are the best options for UI component frameworks in React, and tell this through my experience with using React component libraries. So when starting out, I began just as everyone else, using vanilla CSS with handwritten CSS styles and just handwritten JavaScript. There was no accessibility and everything was fully custom, which is fantastic if you have a great designer on board and you have a lot of time. But if you're trying to develop a product quickly and you don't have a huge team, then doing everything with CSS modules and writing all of your JavaScript from the ground up isn't very feasible. So my first step towards improving this process was to move over to using Tailwind for the styling system. Now, you can use this stack and get very far with it, but realistically, are you going to put the ARIA attributes to make sure everything's accessible? Unlikely. And you're going to spend a very large amount of time recreating basic components that have already been made 1,000 times before, like tabs or selects or combo boxes or collapsible or accordions. There's no point really recreating all these components. You're just wasting your precious time. So just like many other people, I moved over to a full solution such as Chakra or MUI were the two I used, but the exact same principles or evaluation applies to other component frameworks like AntDesign or Mantine. They're based on CSS and JS, which fundamentally makes them incompatible with React server components. This is because Emotion relies on React context for its theme, and of course context is not available on the server. So another very, very key element about the styles provided to you by these UI component frameworks is that the styles are located inside your node modules folder. This is extremely significant because it means you can't go and replace the styles. You can only overwrite the styles using a theme or by writing code over the top of it. So I have some examples here from MUI where you create a theme, as you can see, and then later on you can use the theme with this dot notation, which can easily become very confusing once you have more complex themes, such as this example where you need to specify which props need to be forwarded, what needs to be overwritten, and then you have to use the theme dot object notation, and then you need to use the provider. There's so many problems in this code that it's hard to even begin. And theming can be done of the default components, but it requires code such as this, which isn't the easiest to write or to style. And some things are just almost impossible to paint over. I like to imagine it as you're trying to paint a picture on a wall. If the previous paint is black, it's extremely hard to see what you're painting, so you're going to have to put layers and layers and layers of paint on top of that wall so that you can actually see the different color. So you'll either have to completely cover it with like a base, or you'll have to tear it down. And there's the same problem with Chakra UI. Trying to customize the styling of some of the components can be extremely time consuming. In fact, most of the community has realized, or a lot of people within the community have come to the realization that you're better off writing custom styles than trying to use a style solution inside your node modules, because the amount of time you waste trying to override the styles just isn't worth the time you save from writing them. Then the behavior and accessibility are both provided baked in. So MUI has to MUI handles all three sections here of behavior, accessibility, and styles, which has some pros, but it does also lead to some inflexibility and some challenges with the way it's styled. One major advantage of MUI is that it's extremely popular, and believe me, I have experienced the pain of trying to find developers for a niche tech stack. I think the popularity of a tech stack and how stable it is has a very, very big impact on how easy it will be to onboard new developers and how easy it will be to continue working in that team in the long term. So this is where ShadCN has made a huge movement within the developer community. Not only it is based on Tailwind, not emotion, it also has its styles based inside SRC. So this means that, as you probably already know, you don't import the styles from @ShadCN. You actually copy and paste ShadCN's components into your own source directory, and then you have direct access to those components from your own components folder. And this has a huge benefit of the fact you can go in here directly, and any of the styles in here that you dislike, you can very simply change them. So if you don't want the flex, then you don't need to go and override the flex class. You can simply replace the flex class, making it so much easier to have custom styling. And unless you're absolutely certain that in the future you will not need a very custom styling solution, then I strongly recommend using a solution where the styles are located in your source folder, because I've personally wasted a huge amount of hours trying to override styles using the alternative solutions. Additionally, because it's using Tailwind, it's extremely fast. It doesn't require context to have a theme, so you can run it on server components with no issue. And finally, it's based on Radix UI, and this means it's both accessible and it has all the logic baked in. Radix UI is a great option for ShadCN to have chosen, and perhaps why it became so popular so quickly. So the way that Radix UI is set up is it provides you with unstyled components that are composable. So instead of just giving you an avatar component, it gives you the avatar root, as well as, So that means instead of just giving you the avatar component, it gives you the avatar root, as well as the avatar image and the avatar fallback. This makes it a lot easier to apply specific styles or specific props to different aspects of the avatar. Splitting it up into multiple components in this way gives you a lot of flexibility, and this has likely contributed to why Radix UI is so beloved. Additionally, if you consider the npm usage of even the most popular component library, MUI, Tailwind is more popular than MUI, making it easier to find developers who feel very comfortable with using Tailwind. And Radix UI is also more popular than MUI. It's incredibly well known, which has huge benefits for bringing on a team. However, there is many things wrong with using ShadCN. ShadCN is a deeply imperfect solution. Where do I even begin? There is so much that I would personally change in Shadcn UI, and it's far from perfect. So that's why I decided to do it. I changed it, I've improved it, I've added a huge amount of improved functionality that makes Shadcn UI much, much better. So that's why I think Shadcn UI is the best UI component library that we currently have, if you can even call it that. Really, it's just helping you to build your own UI component library on top of Radix UI's unstyled primitives. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I really am looking forward to showing you in the next video how I've taken Shadcn UI, I've improved it very significantly. In particular, the one limitation of Shadcn, I would say, is how much code it requires to create a simple form. The form management inside Shadcn is brilliant using React Hook Form and Zod, but it requires a huge amount of boilerplate that is completely unnecessary. And that's why I went and I've innovated by creating a solution which reuses the exact same logic that Shadcn UI contains, just makes it so much easier to use without sacrificing any of the flexibility. So if you're interested to see that video, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day.